Now, you might not know this, but anyone who knows me knows that I'm a huge fan of Mystery Science Theater 3000 and its successor projects, Rifftrax and the podcast 372 Pages We'll Never Get Back. For those who don't remember, Mystery Science Theater 3000 was a TV show on in the 90s on Comedy Central and in Sci-Fi, in which Mike Nelson watched bad movies together with two robots, voiced by Kevin Murphy and Bill Corbett, and made fun of them.
Death would have been too merciful for you, Zap Lastowka. I chose to let you live.
And now I have had an opportunity to record with just that Mike Nelson. But first, let me tell you about some of their successor projects that you may be even less likely to know about. Those same guys continue to make fun of bad movies on Rifftrax.com and have been doing so since 2006.
Why is he so upset that swing missed by at least a foot?
No, why couldn't this have happened to the kid from Aragon?
What? They skipped the scene where Q explains this sword.
Yeah, too bad he didn't remember he could do this a minute ago when that guy was decapitating his mom.
So if you haven't checked that out and you're a Mystery Science Theater fan, you've got to do yourself the favor of seeing some of the movies that they've done since the 90s. It's a huge catalog now, and it includes some big budget movies too, even movies like The Lord of the Rings. And in the late 2010s, one of the writers for Rifftrax, Conor Lastowka, together with Mike Nelson, started to do a podcast called 372 Pages We'll Never Get Back, in which they read bad books. I think that's a pretty good generalization, and give them the same treatment as they've given movies on Mystery Science Theater and Rifftrax for a long time. I'm a huge fan of 372 Pages We'll Never Get Back, and I happen to know Conor because by a bizarre coincidence, we both tried out for Jeopardy on the same day. And he invited me to join him and Mike for a episode of the sub-podcast of 372 Pages We'll Never Get Back called 280 Mysteries We'll Never Get Back, in which, together with a guest, Mike tries to solve an Encyclopedia Brown mystery. What follows here is me, together with Mike Nelson, trying to solve the mystery of the Angry Girl from a 1980s Encyclopedia Brown book. Huge honor for me. I've been a fan since Mystery Science Theater, the movie, hit Hollywood Video in Evergreen, Colorado around Halloween 1996. So just a big, big deal for me. And did I solve the mystery? Well, you'll have to watch to find out if you want to. And if you're a 372 page fan, you might note that I've got my good luck charm right here. My God, my great kite with which I cow the birds of a whole district. At any rate, if you're into this sort of comedy, watch on, because it was a huge honor for me and a ton of fun.
I appreciate the hat wall too. It makes me realize how lacking in hats Mike's background is.
Look, man, I didn't know we were going hats today. If I would have stapled hats to my wall.
I was kind of inspired by Conor's idea. Yeah, my grandfather kept all of his on this huge elk rack, but it doesn't fit in here. So, just put them on the pegs. So all my pegs are real cowboys, right? I mean, that was Chad and Dale's metric, right?
Yes. Is that on the? I guess it's on my left. Is that sort of an Aussie hat I see there? Sort of a Crocodile Dundee.
Oh yeah, that's more
the
like
other side. No, the
Yeah, the
other
one with the
side.
strap.
Yeah, the strap one.
Oh, it's not a strap; it's a bolo.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's just hanging under it. Yeah,
Wow.
but yeah, a couple real cowboys. So Chad and Dale disappeared right in my neck of the woods. So that was Connor's like lead into me for like, you've got to check this out. And I had never really listened to a podcast before, right? Like you would think this is what it would sell to me.
Wow.
But I just was like, I don't really know what podcasts are. But finally it was Trucking Through Time that got me to listen. I've been pretty into it since, but I've been a fan Mike, if I may say, for 29 years. I remember when Mystery Science Theater, the movie, came out on VHS.
Oh, that's awesome.
That was, yeah, so like 1996. And then I was a member of Rifftrax the first day you could join.
Wow.
Oh, that's really cool.
Now we're
Yeah,
talking
so
long
awesome.
times. This before that was
Yeah.
nothing. That's
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
not
so
listening to a podcast ever, and then going in to like hearing people talk about trucking through time is sort of just. It's like never seeing a movie and then going in with Birdemic or something, and then being like, "So are they all like this? Like the Joe Rogan and Call Her Daddy? They all must be this insane and niche."
now I try to make references to Super Constitution to anybody that tells me about any podcast, and it never goes over well.
Yeah, if you got a response to that one, you'd be like, "Yeah, I've got to hang up now. I can't be on this podcast because you recognize that."
It would be kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
But one of the weirdest experiences I have is, I meet people all the time where I'll say, did you watch Mystery Science Theater? And people say, oh, yeah, I loved it. I say, well, have you watched Rifftrax? People say, no, what's that?
Yeah.
And then I try to explain, it's like, no, it's the same guys. And people have this weird skepticism about it, like,
Mhm. Trust me, we know. It's so bizarre. Like, well, first of all, if they don't know what Mystery Science is, I just give up.
yeah,
Like,
right.
what do you do for a living? Well, have you ever, it's this thing, like but have you ever seen the show Mystery Science? No. All right, then never mind. I work for a small internet company. See ya.
Well, you, Jackson, mentioned. I mean, why don't you tell us and people what you do? Because you mentioned you have a very similar experience where you talk about something you do that you've obviously are skilled and as talented as we are at what we do, and but people express skepticism about it when you explain to them.
Well, I mean, it was bad enough when I taught an obscure subject at universities people recognized, because at least they got the, oh, professor bit, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get the pushback like, well, that's where my tax dollars go, I guess.
But because you teach what subject?
Well, so I'm a specialist in Old Icelandic.
Of course.
Yeah. So I teach.
Well, now I am enraged that that's where my tax dollars went. That's,
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
We're teaching. The kids can't even learn the new Icelandic.
Well, hey, you work for me, man.
I would get that. But it's a bizarrely popular subject because, I mean, it's all of the Norse myths are in Old Norse, right? So I mean, like it is something that interests people once they realize what you're talking about, but it sounds super obscure to start with. But yeah, I taught at UCLA and then Berkeley and then at Boulder, and I taught, it's not just like language, you also teach like Norse mythology and Vikings and sagas and all that stuff. And so people at least kind of would get that. Like my usual fast response was, oh, I'm a professor of Viking stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got to have an elevator pitch that gets people to go, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then because do you have a boring version though to when you're getting a haircut and you don't want to talk about it? So what do you do then?
Well, I say something like, I study the semantics of the diachrony of color terms in that one puts people to sleep pretty fast.
Yeah, good. All right.
But then I started just teaching on a YouTube channel, right? I just started putting up YouTube videos basically similar to my lectures because I realized the stuff was getting really popular, the Thor movies and the Viking show and all that. And there just wasn't good information about it. It's all guys shouting at you that, think they're Vikings. So I started a YouTube channel and eventually I was making a much better living from that.
Wow.
There's no tenure track positions anymore, right? So I quit in 2020. I quit teaching at CU Boulder and I just now I make a living through Patreon, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So that is hard to explain. Right.
Yeah. So people hear that and they think, you're like, okay, OnlyFans, we get it. Like, yeah. I
got the other day, I got the full out explaining to a group of people, like, oh, what do you do? And it was people that I've known for a couple months, but they didn't know what I did. And it's like, it's not important. We're talking about something else. And then this guy goes, after he hears what I do. He goes, "So is that like a hobby? Do you?
Yeah.
Why do you have to be so skeptical? Why would I continue doing? I've done it for many years. Oh, like a hobby, like a little side thing, like what?
Yeah, right.
It's so dismissive.
Like this, yeah. Actually, I really enjoy San Francisco. Joe Estevez movies just really blow my hair back. Yeah, so I just do it for fun. Yeah.
Yep, it's just a side gig. Yeah, I own the entire oeuvre of Joe Estevez.
Because then you have to like look at, like, here's my wife. Do you think that she would be anywhere near me if this was a hobby that I've been doing for all this time? Like,
Right.
sorry, honey. Like, it'd be nice to sit and play a game or something, but I'm gonna go in the basement and try to think of jokes about roller gator.
Right. Exactly.
Stop buying me metallic Civil War figurines. I will not paint them. My hobby is Joe Estevez.
Exactly. Yeah, and this weird aggression about it. Like,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with you that you should be doing something that I've never heard of. Right? You're not an electrician.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Yeah, I don't really get it.
So
That's the exact look too, by the way. They do the skeptical thing, like
Oh, I
they
know.
take one bit of information, like, well, I do this thing. It's like we sell it on the internet. Okay. Like I'm taking that. I'll take that under advisement. I'm not assenting to it yet. Like, no, I
Right.
do. Okay.
Right. Like, if I don't agree that I understand this, then you don't really do it. So you've got to tell me what you actually do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Where would
almost
where would I have seen it? And if I haven't, then it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I had it happen on Tuesday. Me and Lauren went to a trivia night here, and it was hosted by a guy who, if I had to put money, I would say that there's a decent chance maybe this guy has heard of us. Certainly, he's probably heard of Mystery Science Theater, same age, similar interests based on the trivia night he has. He seems like a cool guy. And Lauren somehow brought this up afterwards because we won the trivia night. And then at the end, there was some sort of like code thing, and she sort of name dropped. She's like, oh. Well, he did most of this because he's the one that sits at home writing jokes all day. And the guy was like, "Oh, you write jokes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I work for Rifftrax." Oh, but say there was a show called Mystery Science Theater. Just take your gift card and leave, sir. Like, but, so I can never go back. It was the last. We go out as champions. But Jackson had the exact opposite thing because we met when it was probably 10 years ago. At a Jeopardy
2014.
auditions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At a Holiday Inn or something in Studio City or Culver City or something like
Something
that.
like that.
Just the place where they put you up. They don't put you up, where you go as a contestant to catch the bus to the studio. And they did you go to that thing. I think you take a written test, and then they size you up to see if you're camera ready, which I think just means if like the string of drool isn't 2 feet long. If you're below 18 inches, Jeopardy's like, this is good, like, because once you see people who they deem camera ready, you understand that. But they ask you your thing, and I was like, oh, I watch bad movies as a hobby. And they said like, oh, you do that? Like what? I said, oh yeah, Rifftrax. And they said, what do you think the worst movie is? And this was 12 years ago, before Rollergator, before Joe Estevez. And I said, Birdemic. And Jackson is like nodding and sort of like saying, oh yeah, from the other side of the room. And then we hung out afterwards. But that was one of the few times this ever happened in my life.
Yeah, it's striking when it does happen. Like, when I meet someone who watches my YouTube channel, like, even though there's hundreds of thousands of them, they're all spread out. So it's not like I see them, right? But like, we were walking down the street the other day and, just past a homeless guy with a sign out on the side of the road. And as we're walking past, I hear behind him, Wyoming, professor, Norse studies. And, like, each word he says, I step a little more slowly, and I finally turn around. And of course, he does want to rant at me about lizard people and stuff. No joke. But he knew who I was. So,
Wow.
Did that count that as a win?
I guess. Yeah, that was a weird one.
Just send that PDF on the lizard people. I will read it. I swear.
Yeah, I've had a few of those moments. I just give him my old Berkeley email that doesn't go anywhere anymore. That was the weirdest one. It happens a lot more in Scandinavia. In Iceland, the previous president of Iceland was sort of a fan. That was a weird one. And I once got noticed on the street by one of the members of parliament in Iceland. So that was kind of strange because like he recognizes me as everybody else is recognizing him because he was in the news for something, and that was an odd one.
Bizarre. What kind of privileges does that give you to have the president of Iceland to be a fan of you?
Nothing. Because I mean, it's a small country, right? Like it's smaller than this county, so everybody knows him anyway. But it was kind of fun to say, like, I'm on a first name basis because Icelanders are always on a first name basis. I'm on a first name basis with the president of Iceland. It sounded kind of cool.
How much time do you spend over in Iceland or Scandinavia?
However much time universities there are willing to pay for me to be there, because I do not go on my own dime. That's way too expensive. But like this summer, we spent a fair amount of time in Sweden doing videos at runestones and meeting up with people over there and going to archaeological sites and making videos about it there. So that was pretty cool. But so it winds up being a few weeks out of the year probably.
Cool.
Do you have a thing? Can you tour to a university, and do you have a thing that like, this is what I do? You know what I mean? Like you can speak to a student body and, just like fill a stadium or an auditorium of classroom or whatever. And
yeah, but usually I'm just talking to like the general public, right?
Okay.
What I've tried to kind of make a name for myself as is academics. You can trust me that I am one of you. I'm not going to misrepresent you. I'm not going to misrepresent the field, but I can talk to regular people.
Mm-hmm.
And Scandinavians actually tend to really appreciate that. There's a lot more skepticism about it in the English speaking world. Like, this attitude in universities is like, oh, you shouldn't be reaching out to those average people. You don't really know what they're, what are they going to do with this information? But like, what are you going to do with, this set of runic letters versus that set of runic letters? Like, I don't know. That doesn't bother me as much, I guess. Or even though there's some weird ideological groups, I will say, that are really into Norse myth. Like that's such a tiny percentage of people, right? It's always a surprise to people when I say like, yeah, there's weird groups that misrepresent this stuff. But if you're not one of those weird groups, you don't know about it. So, I'd rather just reach out to average people and give them good information.
Yeah. So academia goes, stop, giving those clowns our inside information.
Yeah.
This is a secret guild we have going
kind
here.
of. Yeah, but part of my attitude is if we act like that, then we get hey, my tax dollars pay for you, and they're kind of right.
Right.
I feel like I do sort of work for the public. Well, now I work for Patreon, I guess, but
yeah.
I feel a responsibility to let people understand what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find similar things exist in the YouTube lecturer or video maker things where there are either in groups or, I mean, of course, there are weird fringe guys who are probably doing some of those, like, this rune means that my grandfather blood was, etc. Like,
yeah.
So do you have hard time if the algorithm ever puts you into something like that of the weird guys, or trying to get in with the other people who are similarly minded as you?
Yeah, I mean, the algorithm sometimes will, I think, say, hey, this teenager watched one video about, this Norse myth or something. Maybe he would enjoy this Hitler humper shouting about how, this means his blood is purer than yours or whatever. I think that can happen. But I go pretty out of my way to remind people that, look, I'm a weird guy, but I'm exactly what you get on the 10, right? There's no ideology being hidden here, no weird mystical messaging. That's part of why I actually just dress like myself, right? I mean, I wear cowboy hats when I'm talking about Norse mythology, just kind of as a reminder, like, I'm not trying to be a Viking, right? Like, this isn't my identity. I'm not. I tell people, some of my best friends are paleontologists and none of them dress like dinosaurs. but that surprises people sometimes. I do sometimes get the thing, well, you don't look like a Viking. Okay.
You have to end your lecture with, hey, stop winking at me, man. There's nothing hidden here.
Yeah.
We know what you're saying. No, you do. I said it right.
Well, you do occasionally
plainly.
get that. Yeah, you do occasionally get to like, oh, well, he knows the secret message that's in here and he just can't say it. It's like, no.
Right. That's the best. The fact that you didn't say it means that you're truly on board with me.
That proves it. Yeah.
That's what the guy with the street sign wanted to say the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So were any Vikings lizard people?
Yes, of course.
That's good. Now he said it.
Yeah. Are we being recorded?
All right, we got that clean. Okay, good. All right.
Oh.
And the things you could isolate any one of the three of us saying from years of recording.
Well, it's the fact that we've just willingly given hours and hours talking about the most deranged things. Well, Mike and I deranged things. That you must be able to recreate them. We must have a voice model.
Well, we've done it. We do a rehearsal and then we turn on the AI assistant just for jokes. We don't use it for anything. And the AI assistant will say stuff like, then Mike went into a rant about how Hitler had some good ideas. It's like, I didn't. I mean, it was me saying those words. Right. So I don't even bother saying that anymore. Like, we have that cleaned so many times, we don't even have to worry about it. But
the best one was when it thought that we had discussed hilarious matters such as a school bus explosion and our concern about our good friend Denny taking drugs.
That was one of those the Christmas shorts, right?
That was something we did recently about a movie in New Orleans with Sonny Chiba, but I forget what it was called. We were looking at our year in review like last week, and we were like, well, that one, what was that called? Lethal Force? Atomic Police. It was just a generic name, so none of us remembered what it was.
I believe it did pick out you as like, then Connor talked about his good friend Denny or something, right?
Yeah, these things are not quite intelligent yet. Yes. And Mike had an ever-present chunk of pork in his mouth.
Yes, exactly.
I had that on my desk next to, like 12th century Icelandic poetry.
Oh, it's hanging out with good company.
Yeah.
Have you ever met the guys from Sigur Rós, or are you sick of being asked that question?
No, I've not. I have seen Björk.
Okay.
But just because she's always hanging out somewhere. But yeah, I don't think I really know any. Well, I know I've met some pretty big guys in like the Scandinavian metal scene.
Okay.
But that tends to be, weirdly enough, because they're like fans of me rather than the reverse.
Yeah.
So that's always kind of a flex I can do on the long beard guys. But.
I have a nephew is stationed in near Reykjavik, and I emailed him and I realized he was, Connor, you'll appreciate this. He's GMT 0 or UTC 0. So he was like, I said, I've never known anyone in UTC 0. And he was very excited. This is so easy to contact you. Connor hates when I send him UTC meeting times.
UTC Universal Time Code for every 99% of people out there who use it.
No, if only it were that. Coordinated Universal Time.
You did a rant about this on Patreon during COVID, didn't you?
Oh, wow.
Probably. Sounds like let's ask our AI assistant.
That sounds familiar now. Because, we all did some pretty interesting things on Patreon.
Sure. Yeah.
That was plumbing the depths. Yeah, that was. If only there had been street corners we could have ranted on about UTC at that point in time.
Let's see. What else? What other crazy ideas do I have, you people?
That one does persist, though. That one, Mike emailed about UTC earlier this week to people. So,
wow.
Can I just say the daylight savings time, when I first met Connor and our other producer Sean, I was like, I'm against switching times, and they're like, okay, old man, put your black socks on and spray your lawn, and then like 10 years later, people are like, this is kind of a stupid idea.
Yeah.
I don't
hold on to my crazy ideas until they become popular.
It is. One day you wake up and you're like, I don't know. I just turned 38. Like, daylight savings time seems like some bullshit, and I kind of want to eat some tinned sardines. It's just like,
just happens to us all, man.
Where's my talc powder?
There you go.
That's still that's a little ways.
Let me prop my leg up. Hang on.
Yeah, I've got to do some leg bends before I'm able to do that appropriately.
Yeah, I was there for all this classical minis, man.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's raging in the dark. What are you gonna do?
I was there for it, man. I've read Death Rat, so I mean,
wow, deep cut.
I when I say I'm a fan, I mean I have been a fan for a long time. Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome.
So I've got this whole notebook full of corrections about the Danish.
Yes, I was going to say, oh boy. Hey, I was relying on the internet back at that time. Okay,
yeah, right.
Wow. Yeah, so you probably had the equivalent of Jackson, who had crazy Vlad's Danish GeoCities web ring, and to,
right.
to look up
Fax
the
King.
exactly.
Black Starfield. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, we do talking about crazy old men and linguistics provides a natural segue into our mystery today.
All right.
Jackson, what was your experience? I think we're within probably 5 years of each other's age. What was your experience like with Encyclopedia Brown growing up?
Aware of them, but I don't think I ever read them.
Okay.
I mean, like other guests have said, I saw them in those Scholastic Book Fair catalogs, but I don't think I ever opened one.
Yeah.
Recently when I knew I was going to be on this, I went to the library and I checked out all the ones they had, and I just put them into a punching bag, and I've just been hitting them because I figured that's about the best you can do to study for these things. But you can't guess the answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you were reading them, you might get the different ones about carousels confused in terms of their solution. So it's impossible to say.
The squirrel that doesn't go backwards down the tree is a woman, Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way to. There's no way to study for it. So.
What would you get from the book fair instead of these then? Like, what kind of thing were you into as a 10-year-old?
Dinosaur books.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything about dinosaurs or Far Sides.
Got it. There you go.
Yeah.
Also,
Good crossover there. Yeah.
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 The Thagomizer.
Exactly.
The spikes on the end of the Stegosaurus' stick, named after the late Thag Simmons, that I think now is the accepted term for that. In some circles, at least.
So weird connection here. One of my best friends is a paleontologist, and he is like one of the world's experts on Stegosaurus.
Wow.
And I can confirm to you that in fact that is what they call it. It is like in the technical literature, that is the Thagomizer.
That's incredible.
So Gary Larson, he left his mark, man.
Yeah. Wow.
Confirmed. Yeah.
So is it Stegosauruses? Are they tail up these days, or is it back down, or is it still?
It's
I guess
up.
that's a question for okay.
Yeah.
Got it. That rocked my world as a 12-year-old whenever they announced that had changed.
And Pluto, a planet or not a planet? Where are we on that?
Oh God.
Okay. Sorry.
All right.
Hot dog is a sandwich. Sorry, no. Sorry.
We are doing one today from Encyclopedia Brown. I'm sharing the cover and the case of the mysterious handprints. It is from 1985, but this is obviously the reprint where they used non-union equivalent Ryan Gosling for the cover.
I gotta compliment these books though, because they don't say their genre in huge caps lock print type above the title, right? It doesn't say mystery in huge letters at the top. Wasn't that Super Constitution that said like science fiction in 3-inch type at the top?
Yes. Just in case you missed it while you were going into the guy who could hold his breath underwater for 25 minutes. And this is going to be, we've done another one from this book. I forget which one it was, but we are going to be let me just see which one we covered from this book. It was the case of the Hard Luck Boy. I don't remember which one that was, but anyway, we are going to be reading the case of the Angry Girl.
All right.
I had another one picked out from this book, but I accidentally flipped to this one this morning and then decided this was the way to go.
You went right past the case of the Angry Viking and settled on this one. Okay. All right.
Fair enough. Too easy.
Notes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Tyrone Taylor had a way with the gentle sex. I saw that opening line and then I was like, yeah, there's no way I can't do this one. He was forever typing notes and poems to girls of his choice. When Encyclopedia and Sally saw him in South Park on Saturday afternoon, he wasn't typing. He was tipping. He was standing before a bench, bowing and tipping his hat. He's practicing.
Sounds like a normal guy so far.
Yes.
Handing people his poems and tipping his hat to the ladies. All right. Sounds like my kind of guy.
And he's in South Park, so that's, it's in the neighborhood.
Yeah. He's practicing to be Mr. Polite, Sally whispered. I bet he's meeting a girl. Tyrone spied the detectives and motioned them over. Which greeting do you like better? He inquired of Sally. This? He lifted his hat a few inches off his head. I guess like a doffing. Yes. Or this? He swept his hat off grandly and bowed to his knees.
So first was the Stan Laurel, the second was the Oliver Hardy. And the women were just like, well.
Donald Sobel probably is exactly what he was thinking.
And he's like test audiencing this with her.
Yeah.
Yes, because
let's focus group this. Yeah. Okay.
I like the first one, Sally answered. The other makes you look as though you're shoveling flies. Good, Tyrone approved. I like the simple approach better myself. It's more refined. Suddenly, he stooped to pick a sunflower. The perfect touch, he exclaimed. He sat down on the bench, holding the sunflower like a vase of roses. What's all this about, Tyrone? Encyclopedia asked, I assume in a tone similar to that. I'm meeting Adorabelle Walsh here any minute, Tyrone answered. I have to treat her like a lady. Now, I read this morning, but I'm wondering if he's going like Tyrone Power, to use another contemporary reference of probably Donald
Sobel. Kids love it. Yeah.
Encyclopedia understood. It wasn't wise to forget your manners around Adorabelle. Adorabelle was a 5th grader with a special talent, a strong right arm. At the last Junior Olympics, she had won the girls' shot put. Here she comes now, Sally remarked. We'll leave you alone, Encyclopedia told Tyrone. We're overdue at the field for a softball game. Good luck, Tyrone said. I hope you win. I hope you win too, Sally replied with a smile. The detectives had walked 50 yards when Sally tugged Encyclopedia behind a bush. Let's hide. I just have to see Tyrone in action, she confessed. In the next 8 seconds, there was plenty of action. Most of it by Adorabelle. So the fact that she won the shot put leads us to believe there is a second best shot putter in Idaho, which hopefully we will cover at some point in time.
And what year are we talking here?
Well, this was 1985.
Okay, so there was Junior Olympics women's shot put, or girls shot put. Okay.
For 5th graders, sure. I'm thinking
Yeah.
maybe like that's their field day or something.
Yeah. I mean, we can tell it's not 2025 because none of the kids are named Atlas. But but I don't know.
I wanted to ask about that. As a Jackson, you must be terrified that with the up and coming Jackson crew, that you're going to go into the barber shop and he's going to instinctively give you the broccoli perm, the Patrick Mahomes cut.
I know. Well, when I was
Jackson,
a kid,
you have to.
When I was a kid, I was like the only Jackson.
Yeah.
Although it's not quite true. It's not that weird of a name in Wyoming because of Jackson, Wyoming. But like now, yeah, every time I'm in Target, there's somebody shouting for their 5-year-old Jackson, right? Although they all spell it with an X.
Jackson Dart, the draftee of the New York Giants quarterback this year.
Oh, man.
JXSON.
It's coming. Yeah, I may have to get that haircut.
All right. Most of it by Adorabelle. Tyrone jumped to his feet, tipped his hat, and offered the sunflower. Adorabelle ignored it. She stepped in close and landed a right on Tyrone's jaw, spinning his hat halfway around his head. Then, thud, she buried her left in his stomach. Tyrone sank to the earth, nose down. It was all over before the detectives knew what was happening. Sally gasped, "That is one angry girl." And very neat, too, Encyclopedia added as he watched Adorabelle clean up. Adorabelle dragged Tyrone onto the bench and laid him out toes up. She folded his arms over his chest, tucked his hat under his hands, and placed the sunflower beneath his teeth.
Beneath his teeth?
That's an interesting way of describing what I was imagining. Yeah, the clenched, Don Flamenco
Also,
kind of.
I mean, maybe I can ask this after, but sunflowers are pretty big, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, they can easily tower over, 10 feet tall.
He reached down and grabbed it. Okay, I don't know. He was in a field of sunflowers. Whatever. All right.
Go find a cushion, you pinhead. She flung at the speechless feature and marched off. Oh, and here's where we've got our second screen share. We've got a picture of Annabelle working Tyrone over.
Adorabelle.
Adorabelle, sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
I used the real name versus. So his hat is flying off his head like a cartoon character. And it appears to be like a baseball cap. I was picturing a fedora, but I guess that's my modern sensitivities interfering.
Adorabelle, was that a word in Model Land? What were they called? The Adora.
Oh,
It
yeah.
might have been. I knew it sounded familiar.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Yeah, it was scratching. It was scratching at the back of my mind somewhere. But also, doesn't Sally beat up boys?
Yes, that's her métier. Yes,
she beat up Bugs Meany in the first book, I think, and he's been cowering and stewing about it with his people to kill list ever since. I think that in Donald J. Sobel's mind, it's the most, the most embarrassing thing that could possibly happen to a kid of this age. So it's a constant plot point.
I would just point out that they hid behind a bush to watch this, and then they did not come out even after she hit him and dragged him up onto a bench. This is not the work of a moment here. This is
assault and battery.
Yeah, so he could be dead. So we don't know yet.
Yes, she says it does say the speechless figure. I think that means unconscious and concussed. In the span of 8 seconds, I think. So she walked up.
brain bleed probably, but he'll survive for at least till he gets to the hospital.
Yes, he's last his ladied.
Okay.
So when Sally and Encyclopedia reached him, Tyrone was just coming around. He gagged. So that's just probably coughing up some of his teeth. Sally removed the sunflower from his mouth. "You poor boy," she murmured. "How do you feel?" Tyrone groaned. "If I felt any better, I'd get to a hospital." And I will point out, Mike, to your comment, they're detectives. They're not police. They solve the crimes. They don't, ensure law and order. And he hasn't paid them either. Like, he's not laid a quarter on the gas can.
That's true, I guess. But are there good Samaritan laws where if you see someone
you're obligated to
savagely beaten, are you under any obligation?
That could be Bugs Meany's ultimate. If he figured out good Samaritan laws and tricked them into not intervening and then had them arrested for that. Wow.
Okay.
If I felt any better, I'd get to a hospital, Tyrone groaned. "Whatever made Adorabelle so angry?" Sally asked. Tyrone groaned again. "All I did was write her this note." He fumbled a sheet from his pocket and gave it to Encyclopedia. The detective read the typewritten words. "How I long for a girl who understands what true romance is all about. You are sweet and faithful. Girls who are unlike you kiss the first boy who comes along. Adorabelle, I'd like to praise your beauty forever. I can't stop thinking you are the prettiest girl alive. Thine, Tyrone."
Yeah, that's. I'd give him a beat down too. That's true. Just on its face, thine.
That really seals it.
Yes.
"You've written better," Encyclopedia said. "It's choppy, but it isn't that bad." "I borrowed some sentences from a book of love letters and strung them together," Tyrone admitted. "I was kind of in a rush." He explained. Adorabelle was leaving that night for a week in Atlanta. He had dashed off the letter 3 hours ago to express his feelings for her. "I called her at noon," Tyrone said. "I expected to read the letter over the telephone as if the words had just come to me. She wasn't home. So I spoke with Lulu Bell, her kid sister. Lulu Bell took down what I said and promised to give the message to Adorabelle." "Lulu Bell is only in 3rd grade, Sally protested. "She must have got the words wrong. Or maybe she changed them because she doesn't like you." "She likes me," Tyrone insisted. "She's taken messages before, and she prints clearly in capital letters. Besides, I had her repeat each word as she took it down." He fingered his bruised jaw a moment before continuing. "Adorabelle called me an hour ago," he said. "She had received my message. She asked to meet me here. Oh my, did she sound eager." "She was eager to pop your bulb," Sally said.
There's kids. We're all saying that in the 80s, right?
"I ought to pop your bulb."
Listen, you.
Clean his mug.
"Encyclopedia, what went wrong for Tyrone?" The detective didn't answer. He was reading the letter again. Understanding flickered across his face. "Kid sister Lulu Bell meant well," he murmured, "but I'm afraid she is to blame." "Why?"
So there's got to be something in the letter, right?
Okay, so it is the letter. Here's what I'm going to give as my leading piece of advice, Jackson. You see what you. She only writes in capital letters.
Uh-huh.
is what they said. That has to mean that, I mean, the poem sounded insane. So what, can we hear that again?
Yes. How I long for a girl who understands what true romance is all about. You are sweet and faithful. Girls who are unlike you kiss the first boy who comes along, Adorabelle. I'd like to praise your beauty forever. I can't stop thinking you are the prettiest girl alive. Thine, Tyrone. I'm updating my email signature, that's for sure.
Yeah, right.
First of all, this sounds like maybe a Counting Crows song. From the, I don't know.
How I long for a girl.
Oh boy,
It's called Thine. How I Long for You in parentheses.
Thine. When you go to look it up on Spotify, they're like, "We don't know what that song is." Like, come on, everyone knows.
Yeah,
it's
the
called Thine.
Song. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Escape the Pina Colada song.
Yes. Boy, this is tough. I feel like if I could see the letter, there would be a code or something, and so she put it in caps.
Yeah, I'll paste
and
it.
it said like "go to hell" or something.
Yeah. Or I was thinking,
it's not formatted anywhere in the book. It's written as just a standard paragraph type of thing. But
Okay, and he took it from a book of poems.
That's what it says. Yeah.
What poems? You're cribbing from the wrong author there, man.
He doesn't express that, but maybe I don't want to say anymore.
Okay. How I long for. Okay, I'm just looking at it right now. Sorry.
Bob Dylan does the same thing. He'll find some book from 1877 and it's like, there's a song from modern times, written by Bob Dylan.
Didn't David Bowie would famously write words on paper and then throw them in the air and then pick them up off the floor?
Yeah, I think they said Tom York did that for Kid A too.
Moby did that, right? For the big album in like 1998. That's like the only thing anybody ever hears.
Okay.
Like, all of those lyrics are like gospel songs.
Well, yeah, that's just. I mean, it's the recordings of them. It's from like Alan Lomax, and he's like, boom, 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 boom. There's my song. I added it over a field chant.
Girls who are, boy, this is like one of those girls who are unlike you kiss the first boy who comes along.
Yeah, I wonder.
I'm not sure that lands exactly. I'd punch him.
Well, yeah. But it's so weirdly phrased. I wonder if the key is somewhere in there, that it's something that, but I was trying to think, are there any words here that look like acronyms or something? If they're
I was wondering if the first letter of every, did she write it on a line? HWGA.
That doesn't get you anywhere.
That would reflect poorly on Adorabelle if she looked at that and just thought, if she interpreted it as a zodiac cipher, then you'd start to wonder about her if she just is seeing coded messages anywhere.
Yeah, I get these from a lot of guys. Yeah.
I picked up your message in my fillings, Tyrone. Bam, bam.
I have no negative feelings about this girl who just punches guys and leaves them unconscious on park benches. But
seemed like the right choice no matter what. I don't know. I feel like that's part of the key, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't have a solution, and I know that the clock is ticking. So,
yeah, Mr. Linguistics, anything you might be able to?
Oh man,
I know it's a bit of a stretch to try to pretend this is in your area of expertise, but
could you translate it first and then back, and maybe there's something will come out of it then.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow that's the solution. Tyrone should have known that Adorabelle was Croatian, and in Croatian, when she,
right.
Mm-hmm. Man, like, or is it something where she broke the sentences into the wrong pieces? So, like you read it across the period, right? Yeah. Faithful girls who are unlike you. Is that it?
Unlike you.
Sweet and faithful girls who are unlike you, and that's the false end of the girl transcribed with a period after unlike you.
Yeah, that could be.
Kiss the first boy who comes along, Adorabelle. So she hears it as the wrong. She hears the sentence break at the wrong place. Is that close to?
Yeah, that could be. I'm trying to read. I'd like to praise your beauty forever. I'd like to, if the stops are at the wrong places, like if this were a telegram and the stops were in the wrong places.
Right. Chad and Dale are trying to send this.
Yeah.
And whatever they think is 1870 or 1830, whatever. Yeah.
Well, yeah, around when our author was probably born. So.
This strikes me as I read the book about Teddy T.R. Roosevelt after he lost with Bull Moose. He did that expedition down to South America, and some of the tribes they would encounter, he'd give them gifts, and then they would kill the people in there. Or like, oh, those are the ones you're not supposed to give gifts to. Sorry, I got them mixed up.
Was that what this is?
Yes. Yeah.
I heard that.
Yes, I think so. But this might be, you hand this to her and she's like, oh, I'm reading it this way. So I don't know what that is. It's indecipherable to me. I feel like we're on the right track, but I can't break it down. So
my last thought is the letter a red herring somehow? And there's actually something else in what he said to the sister. But I don't think we heard what he said to the sister.
Yeah.
I think, wearing that hat, if it were backwards and he did doff it at me, I'd punch him. So, but that's probably not the solution. So,
yeah. The solution is, Encyclopedia realized that Tyrone was a dipshit, and that was why she punched him.
The end.
Sobel takes a heel turn. All right. Well, let's move on to the solution.
Okay.
Just very much like our last episode, the last couple we've done with guests have sort of played out this way. That was pretty remarkable to watch happen in real time. But Lulubelle, a third grader, wrote down Tyrone's message word for word, but he forgot to punctuate it for her. Okay. So as Encyclopedia realized, Lulubelle put in her own commas and periods in the wrong places.
Oh, I was on the right track.
Wow.
She meant well.
But she's evidently insane. The commas and periods were so placed as to change Tyrone's meaning entirely and make Adorabelle punching mad. What Adorable read was, how I long for a girl who understands what true romance is. All about you are sweet and faithful girls who are unlike you. Kiss the first boy who comes along, Adorabelle. I'd like to praise your beauty forever. I can't. Stop thinking you are the prettiest girl alive. Thine, Tyrone. She got the thine and Tyrone comma right. But
wow.
But so I think that you pinpointed at most of those. You got the unlike you and kiss the first boy, and I think you were on the verge of getting that I'd like to praise your beauty forever. I can't. So
okay. Yeah.
So do I get to put that in the W's or the L's?
I think that's a W.
I'm gonna call it a W. I think anyone who says we lose this one, go to hell.
Yeah, no,
we won this one.
Go to hell. I agree. And yet some will.
Yeah. That is a rom-com-esque misunderstanding that it is impossible to imagine a actual human misinterpreting the spoken language. That
is Three's Company landlord listening around the corner type of misunderstanding.
Totally. And I don't buy that the third grader knows how to spell thine. Doesn't realize where the punctuation goes.
For sure. And it mentioned that it was a typewritten letter. It shows a typewriter in the solution, but I did think the all caps was going to provide some sort of thing like the lowercase L's translating into I's type of thing, but that was also a red herring.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, bravo. We're in a pretty good hot streak here, and I've been picking very tricky. I've been picking tricky ones to try to make this happen.
Well, I've always thought that Ken Jennings and I are in a pretty similar league. So.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. That's our golf in Jeopardy earnings is about as big as percentage-wise as mine and his. We're both rounding errors.
This is like a pro-am golf tournament. We bring Professor on, we bring Ken Jennings on to try to help me drag me across the finish line.
Yeah, so what's next? A professional wrestler or something? Like, I don't know. You gotta...
he might.
Yeah, I suppose so.
If Sally can beat someone up, he'll probably be able to analyze the technique. Well, this was fantastic. Thank you again, Jackson, for joining us. Tell people where they can check out your instructionals.
Oh yeah, well, so just it's on YouTube, just my name, Jackson Crawford, and I told you, Connor, that you two are acknowledged
Oh, right.
in the new book, or well, the second edition of my first book. It's called Death Rat.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'll give you all the residuals for that.
Okay.
Norse Professor tanks career over plagiarized title scandal. Yeah, that was an honor when you mentioned that, and I will display it proudly on my case, and then people will ask me questions about it. I'm like, I've only read the acknowledgments. It's but look.
Oh, this is cool. I feel good about this. It was a good collaboration, Jackson. Good to be
well, and a huge honor for me. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Thanks,
Our
everybody.
pleasure. Thanks.